With the curveball of the transmission going out on the rig, I think this is a good opportunity for us to talk a little bit more in depth about the plans here at Lot 32. Because this is of course going to be home base in between travels and maintenance with the rig, but looking long term, this essentially opens the door to any and all travel on destination adventure. And that is the long-term goal. I plan to grow and diversify this business to the point where we can chase stories and epic adventures in beautiful places all around the world. And I think one of my more frequent requests is the introduction of an adventure bike to the fleet. Now, of course, I'm not just going to stand here and tell you about it. Let's gear up and go for a ride.
Oh yeah, you guys have no idea how excited I've been about this ride today. It's been pouring rain all day, but the sun's out and it's turned into a beautiful day for an adventure. Now, ultimately, it is a year or two premature for me to be getting into an adventure bike, but out here where I'm building, it's just so expensive to get into town running the trucks. Usually I'm going in for supplies, so can't change anything, but just to go for an appointment or see my folks, it's like $70 return. Seemed like a good opportunity to get into a cheapy beginner adventure bike, get my bearings with a taller, heavier bike, because it just opens so many doors for international travel. Plus, I've been so busy with the build and with the transmission issues in the rig, just seemed like a no-brainer. I have all these leads locally that I could do literally as day trips with the bike. And that's what we're doing today. I have a really cool route planned out. Gonna be mostly new to me, remarkably. It's just wild as we climb out of the hill here. You're gonna see the difference coming up out of the banana belt. I mean, we've gone less than 1 kilometer already, no leaves on the poplar trees up here. That Fraser River, it makes quite the little microclimate down there. But it is a treat in its own, driving in and out of here. That Fraser River's gone up so much this past week. We're going to be off highway for the bulk of today's adventure, but we're going to take a quick little dart off the road here before we even get to the highway. I want to show you guys something close by. Look at this old pipeline. That's going way back. It's all riveted together. But along this road up here, there's several really high producing freshwater springs. Unfortunately, they're not going to be usable for me because I would have to cross a road. Can't run a pipeline over or under a public road. And this is the best one. Just look how much water is flowing through here. And that's all just coming right out of the ground. Right back there, I think. That's quite deep right there, too. Anyways, was just branding at my buddy Keenan's house yesterday, so I'm a little bit on the sore side. But on the topic of branding, take a look at that irrigation ditch. Gonna be a lot of happy cows and farmers around here. Now, before we hit the highway, let me show you what we got here for a bike. And I'll tell you right off the bat, it's not that impressive. It's just a KLR. I wanted a KLR because they're cheap and cheerful and reliable. It's pretty heavy for the power, so it's a good practice bike for me. By the time I figure out how to really run this well, I should be ready to step up into something a little bit better. I definitely owe a big thanks to R&R Pro Cycle here in Williams Lake for getting this bike ready for some adventures. Full disclosure, I crashed this thing on the third ride. Broke the windshield off and some plastics. Didn't break myself, so that's good. But they got me all tuned up and ready for exploring without even laughing at me too much. Just about to pull onto the highway here, then we're gonna grab fuel and we're gonna be ready for a full day adventure. Our starting point today is McLeese Lake. I think this is gonna be a really cool loop. Definitely for adventure bike riders, possibly for a rig as well. So we're turning on the Beaver Lake Road. I'm very surprised to see that they are paving right now. This road only has pavement for like 2 kilometers. But in their defense, it was in really bad shape.
I thought I saw this in the back of your truck the other day.
When did they start paving here?
2 days ago.
Oh yeah.
Last week they did all the culverts and all that shit. It'll be nice, that hill is so pounded out.
Oh dude, it is. It's been so bad. So we take a left here, that goes up to one of our great big local mines, Gibraltar. We're gonna take a right, which keeps us on the Beaver Lake Road. The old KLR is not much of a speed demon, but I can do highway speed on this, no problem. Well, that was the first leg of our adventure today. A little bit greasy on the tail end there. I'm a little bit nervous about our connecting road, but it's a critical part of today's adventure. This next section is all highway to our first little town, if you want to call it that. What the heck is going on down in this river? There's like 100 fish right there. They must be spawning. There's a whole chain of lakes right here. It's called the Beaver Lake Chain. And at some point in time, somebody came and introduced bass. And they're not native here, and they're very invasive. Oddly enough, our government closed down the fishery. You're not allowed to go and fish for bass. They should open it up and say fish for all the bass you want and give them a bonk when you catch them. But hey, I don't make the rules. Just turned around because I saw a beautiful big black bear. There he is. I'm gonna see if I can sneak up quiet enough to get a shot. But there he is. Feel bad for scaring him off when he's eating grass, just chilling, but chilling beside the road is not really the greatest idea. But at least we've seen some wildlife today. Hoping that won't be the last of it. Dropping down the hill into the beautiful little settlement of Likely. It's also slightly past our turnoff, but I had to come and show you the beautiful little town of Likely. And I also need to warm up a little bit. You can get gas and diesel, some fishing supplies, and hopefully today some hot food. So this is the end of the pavement for a while. Well, a couple clicks back up to the turnoff and that's it. I want to take this road just for a little poke down here and see what it's like. I think there's actually a couple dozen houses down this road. Fairly narrow for what I assume is frequent two-way travel. Look at this old place. Sitting out here looking pretty abandoned. Oh, it probably got condemned because of the bank sliding towards the house. That's a real shame. Beautiful place out here. Smells pretty moldy in there. Nice little detour here, but let's head back up the highway to our turnoff. So here's our connecting road, and it's called the Ditch Road. And it's called the Ditch Road because 150 years ago, during the gold rush, they dug a great big ditch to supply water to the Bullion mine, which was the largest hydraulic mine in the world at the time. In fact, they dug ditches all over this area because they needed so much water. Oh, got a collection of junk back here. And what looks to be a radical old rock truck. Look at that Fleetwood. Holy smokes. Now there's a chunk of iron. Funny enough, you actually run across a whole lot of old iron out here just because of all the mining history. Well, I see at least some tracks on here, so I'm guessing it's going to be open all the way through, which is a good sign for us. I was actually concerned there would be still snow out here. What a fun road this is. This KLR is hilarious. I've only got to ride it overall probably less than 1,000 kilometers, but it's basically the 12-valve Cummins of adventure bikes, which is pretty fitting for me. The only thing missing is a cloud of coal behind me. Oh, water feature. Piece of cake. Oh, another black bear. Wow, these early season bears looking so healthy. I mean, this is the kind of country that a bear likes to be in, though. Having some fun. Just cruising along the mountainside right now with the beautiful Quesnel Lake below us. I'll stop here shortly and fly the drone. Oh, what do we have here? Ditch Road Hut. Nice.
There's a pretty spectacular view of the beautiful, great big glacier-fed Quesnel Lake. I can see somebody out cruising in a boat. It doesn't look that big from here because we're really just looking at one arm of it. But if I spin around, you can see it goes much further into the distance and much further than we can even see from here. But if we keep spinning, you can see the ditch road going along. We'll be cruising along that shortly. And you can see a great big mine over here. That is Mount Polly. And I'm showing you this because it is imperative to our next stop along the way. And it looks like the tailings pond is steaming. What's going on over there?
What a beautiful little spot they've built out here. Not sure why it says no overnight camping. Not that I'm gonna complain because it doesn't affect us. But let's get on the road. Woo! This is what I've been so curious to see. I think about 12, 13 years ago, something like that, the Tailings pond dam broke and all the water came rushing down full of whatever chemicals are in a tailings pond of a mine, and it went flying down here, carved this great big gouge through the wilderness into Quesnel Lake. Well, let's take a closer look. Certainly not my intention to come put a highlight on this disaster out here, because without mining and logging, my little hometown would not exist. But the reality is, with big industry comes the potential for big disaster, and unfortunately that's what happened out here. And as far as I know, this used to be just a little creek going through. And when that dam broke, it flattened everything on the way. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Look at this. I have this log perfectly balanced right now. Oh, no. Is this the kind of place a guy could find a fossil? I'm just not sure. Been looking through a lot of these sandstone rocks, and many of them have what appears to be fossilized matter of some kind. Haven't found anything significant, but would you take a look at this thing? What the heck is this? That's crazy. I think it is some type of natural formation, but it's all tumbling down from up there. Pretty interesting. I'm gonna leave it there, and then someone in the comments is gonna tell me how rare and awesome that is. Probably a tooth from some type of prehistoric whale. Oh my goodness, it's happening. Full on fossilized turd. Look at that one. Wow. A perfect specimen. Talk about being on a roll. At first I thought it was going to be just the casing, but take a look at perfect condition prehistoric penis. And another score. Wow. Yep, Neanderthal footprint right there. Nice one too. The day's ticking by way faster than I thought, so we're gonna get some drone shots and then we gotta get out of here. How are you doing?
Great.
That's good.
How are you?
Very good.
How's the drone running?
Well, I'm just about to try.
Okay.
Where it looks the worst, I think, is right there at the tail end. There's a perfect view of it right there. You can see the tailing pond off in the distance, and you can basically map exactly where that flood of water came roaring down. There's a look off into Quesnel Lake and the surrounding mountains. Pretty beautiful area out here. Where are you guys coming from?
We just did a loop from Quesnel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Quesnel, like you came through Ghost Lake Falls?
No, we went McLeese Lake.
Okay.
And then went across over to Horsefly.
Through the Beaver Lake?
Yeah. Through the Beaver Lake.
Okay.
Beaver Lake, Beaver Valley. Beaver
Yeah.
Valley.
Yeah. So we are just doing it opposite directions right now.
Okay, is that right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious about what the snow levels are to go back to Wells. Do you know?
Through the very high part there, it might still be a little bit snowy.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I've been wanting to come out here and see this spill zone for years, but I think the highlight for me was probably seeing my first adventure riders in the wild. And of course, those fossilized turds. What makes the ditch road so cool, aside from just being an awesome ride, is that it connects two of my favorite towns here in the Cariboo, Likely and Horsefly. As far as I know, everything on the Likely side is off-grid. I see power lines here, so we must be more than halfway. What do we got going on here? Surprisingly, it doesn't smell that bad. Pretty moldy up there though. Summerland. It's down on the Okanagan. Interesting. I mean, it's entirely possible that this is not actually a resort, but just a bit of a summer getaway that somebody's built. You can see that one is sinking. We are officially in the town of Horsefly. If you can call it a town, I'd call it a settlement or a village. This whole moto vlogging thing is gonna take some getting used to. I almost feel guilty just flying through these communities. They all deserve a story. When I'm traveling in the rig, we don't travel very fast because I'm always chasing stories. I hope to do something similar in the future with the motorbike. But today, we're not doing a whole lot of stopping. When we left McLeese Lake, we were on the Beaver Lake Road. Now, we are on the Beaver Valley Road. It's just a beautiful route. If you've been really paying attention to the directions today, you might have a bit of an idea where we're at. When we came onto the highway after our first leg of the adventure, there was that river with all the fish in it. And I was saying that there's a lake chain with bass. That's coming up here pretty quick. That is nice. Spider Relic. Look at this cute little dozer. Why is there 2 exhaust pipes on it? That's what I'd like to know. I bet this thing just sipped fuel like a pack mule. Obviously it was parked here because they had some undercarriage issues. but I bet this old diesel engine would fire right up. Which would be pretty cool. Yep, bet she's a good runner. Alright, somebody out there teach me a thing or two about what this is. On. Battery cable connected. Push button start. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? I've heard stories of diesel engines that start on gas engines. I can see a spark plug up there, and this is the engine that's cranking over. Well, I don't know what you guys have going on for the rest of your day, but in the life of Dustin Porter from now until sundown, my time is going to be invested into getting this thing going. I can see definitely there's some things missing. Okay, so that did something. That might be for the gasoline. Okay, we have spark. We have air. What we're lacking is fuel. Went into this project with a fair amount of confidence. The problem is I've somehow engaged the diesel engine to the gas engine and we're running out of battery power. It would be incredibly radical to see this thing fire up, but I'm running out of ideas faster than we're running out of daylight. And we're running out of daylight pretty quick here. Either way, I'm a little bit disappointed she didn't fire. I think she would. I just don't know how to do it. I'm also a little bit curious what we have left for fuel. Looking online, these KLRs get like almost 500 kilometers to a tank, which is pretty awesome. We're nowhere near that quite yet. Well, I wouldn't say that disappointed is the right word, but the plan was to come here and get a glorious golden hour shot going over the bridge. We've used up all of our golden hour tinkering around with an old dozer. Not complaining, that dozer was pretty radical. But on the topic of radical, so is this bridge. Anyways, we're not going to make a big deal out of this. We're just going to go in there and retrieve that drone. Then we're going to fire up the bike and we're going to ride home as if nothing bad happened. Because you can't let these things get you down, you know? Okay, drone, what kind of shape are you in? Freaking mint condition. I can hardly believe it. Gimbal's working. Arms are working. Legs are working. What a freaking success story. Oh, she's flying. She's a runner. Anyways, here's this beautiful area with a really nice bridge. And I can even see a fish jumping out there. Got, I think, some nice shots. Got to experience a crash without breaking anything. It's always exciting. And now, every camera that I own is basically out of batteries, so we get to just crank up some tunes and cruise home. Well, I'm having a hard time understanding what the heck is going on with this drone. All of the obstacle avoidance should be working. Luckily, the drone didn't break today, but can't be crashing that thing every ride. It's just not acceptable. And with that, it's time to go home. Officially this time. that car, dude.
To say that I'm excited to have a motorcycle back in my life would be a massive understatement. I think this is going to be a great addition to Destination Adventure and a great way to get out and see some places that probably the rig couldn't even get out to. I hope that you all enjoyed today's moto vlog adventure, but most of all, thanks for watching, everybody.
I gave it so much, another love lost. You won't be calling me